Chia, you're a little on the right side. You want to get in the middle of the TV?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're in the middle.
Okay, we're about to start Glitchymon's Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Hype it up, hype it up. We got another Zelda game after this, so thank you for tuning into our Zelda block. Glitchymon, the mic is on you.
All right. So when do I?
Whenever you're ready,
So do we have
all you
any?
have to do is just press this button. This is your time.
Do we have any incentives we could do?
No incentives.
All right.
Really set up an incentive.
All right, that's
Are we
fine.
ready for time? Alright, so whenever you're ready, press start, enter, whatever.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Ocarina of Time is a Zelda game, obviously, but obviously something's a little different. I'm playing on the Japanese version. The reason I'm doing that is because the text is significantly faster. It's significantly faster than playing on English. And for reference, if you do 100% speedrun on this game, it is around 20 minutes faster. But for this category, I would say it's around 5 or 6 minutes. But the way this game is programmed, it allows us to do a lot of individual routing. It allows us to go around the game in the way and order we really choose. Like, we don't have to do anything linearly. We can do any dungeon, almost any order we want, almost. There's a few exceptions, but generally we can do basically on dungeons, like we can do dungeons in complete reverse order. We can do Ganon's Castle, then Spirit, Shadow, Water, Fire, and do reverse. Like, it's very, very broken. And also, I'm playing on the 1.0 version of the game, which allows for a few more glitches than the 1.2 release. And those glitches I will show along the way, but they're pretty important and they save a significant amount of time as playing on Virtual Console. And N64 loses a little bit of time to lag and loading, but it comes out on top because of those few first exclusive glitches. But generally, the gist of this run, this is all dungeons. The goal of the category is to basically complete all the dungeons. Like, the goal of the category is to beat every single dungeon by stepping into the blue warp with whatever method you can. So as long as you get each medallion by going to the blue warp, it counts as a dungeon. And I'll be doing a lot of hessing, which is hyperextended super slides, and a lot of crazy movement tricks, a lot of wrong warping, quite a bit of RBA, to go as fast as possible. I named myself one character because it saves about 7 frames over a unique character name per time that my name is displayed. So the first order of business is to get 25 rupees with whatever method I can do. And I generally use the fastest method I possibly can to get those rupees. And right now, the only reason I'm going to need these rupees is because I need to buy deck of nuts and 1 stick. That is all I need to get out of the forest. When I say get out of the forest, I don't mean to beat the Deku Tree. I mean get out of the forest as in I'm leaving the forest before I beat the Deku Tree, because that is faster than waiting around for centuries. All right. So I'm going to need about 20 rupees before I get to Kakariko so I can buy the Hylian Shield. Since Hylian Shield is important. So, as I'm going to Lost Woods, this is not a normal path to take to the Deku Tree, obviously. There's no Deku Tree in Lost Woods. So what I'm going... Oh, boy. Alright, I gotta try this a few times. Alright, got it. So basically there's a trick I can do there of where I go. Excuse me one moment. So right now, what I did was there is a small little acute angle inside that slab in the Lost Woods of where you can jump slash and clip into there. It's a 1-frame window to decide up and jump slash. And what I'm doing is going down Zora's River so I can get to Kakariko Village faster. And notice how I have no shield or sword. And I don't need them. You do not have to have shield or sword to get to adult Link as Child Link.
Turn it down.
Alright. So basically, what I need to do in order to do this is I have to collect every single bottle. I have to collect every single Kako to get the bottle, since the bottle is the most important item in the game. It's a very important item, as it allows for a lot of tricks to actually happen during the run, and a lot of them wouldn't be possible without it. This run, in fact, might not be possible without it. Or if it is, it'd be a lot longer. A lot longer. But the general goal of Kako collecting is to get them in the pen as soon as possible. And getting them as quickly in there as they can. So I make sure they're in a bunch so I can grab them quickly. I don't have to move around as much to get them. But then again, the Kagos can either give you good RNG or bad RNG. The good RNG is where they're in a nice bunch and you can grab them quickly. The bad RNG is when they're really spread out. Fortunately, they weren't pretty spread out. They were pretty much average this time. And since that was quick enough, I can get the bottle. And I need to go to the bottom of the well to do something. Just saying. And I just did Navi dive, and what that basically does, it allows me to dive through the water using Navi after jump slashing. So it allows me to get to the bottom of the well early. Now I'm going to do blank A, and I think it's self-explanatory. Okay. I failed it. Okay, I gotta line this up. Okay, I didn't fail it. Alright, if you have a bad angle, you have to YOLO that, and I got it, so that's good. So there's a small little there's a small little thing in the ceiling of where you can clip upwards. But that's not important. So what I just did, in general, the trick I just did was called blank A. And the way it works is you interrupt your entering of a crawl space by throwing a Deku Nut while holding like a sword or a stick. And it gives you the properties of the game thinking you're still in the crawl space. So it gives you the same mechanics and movement. So that's why I was kind of backwalking in the air instead of falling. And what that allows you to do is allows you to clip through certain spots that wouldn't normally be possible. And it just so happens that that spot allows me to get to the basement of the bottom of the well really quickly with a side hop. And then I'm able to float to the top using the unloaded water. And then get to the bomb chew chest, which is extremely, extremely useful and absolutely vital. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get on top of the bridge. And there's a strange philosophy that OT goes by. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist. That goes for the drawbridge. And the reason why I popped up in the drawbridge is because the drawbridge wasn't actually loaded. Like, because I was looking away from the drawbridge, it wasn't loaded. So as soon as I let go of target, it properly loaded it. And this trick is kind of precise, so it may take a few tries. Alright, so I gotta try a few times. Alright, got it. So there's a precise jump you can do to get in the shop during the nighttime, because normally you would have to be day. And now I'm going to go to Temple of Time because I believe I clearly beaten all three. I clearly have all three spiritual stones. Like, I've completely, obviously, gone to all the other dungeons in under 12 minutes. Clearly, like, I totally have them in my inventory. I actually don't, though. I have no spiritual stones, but I'm gonna get past here. There's a little small opening in Door of Time that allows you to clip through. May take you a few tries. One more. Okay, this is gonna take a few tries. Oh. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Alright, this is gonna take a few tries. Alright. Oh boy. So what happened there was I got a bad position. I got bad position from the Door of Time. That sometimes happens if your side up is kind of bad, which is kind of unfortunate, but it happens. All right, so I got it. But generally, there's a small oddity that does happen if you backflip at the wrong time, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint. Sometimes you'll just not be able to target the door. So basically what I did there, in order to make that work. Oh, by the way, I got the Master Sword, no big deal. So what I did there was I had to get a specific angle, side hop and side roll into the corner, and untarget on the side hop. Like I had to let go of target during the side hop, and then pause on a specific frame to target, and then hold left a few frames later. And that allows me to skip the draw time without a sword. But miraculously, I was able to get through the door time without a sword or shield and barely any items. Of course, since this is all dungeons, I'm going to have to get the other 3 spiritual stones, but I'm not going to be doing them as Child Link. That what makes the run interesting. You're going to be doing basically all the dungeons as Adult Link. And there's a trick that was actually found recently that allows you to complete all of them. But before that, you can only do all but one. But I'm going to leave that till later. And doing child dungeons as Adult Link makes the game extremely broken. And this is a 6-minute long cutscene, or around 6 minutes, but it's a little bit longer in English, which is why I run Japanese. So I don't really think I would want the majority of the run to be cutscenes, but generally, this run, and this category is very non-stop. Like, it just keeps going. There's pretty much very little downtime. Unlike something like MST or 100%, where there's quite a bit of downtime, but this is just go, 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 go. Because after this point, it's mostly just trick after trick after trick. And I got to nail all of them. Generally, as I got the Master Sword, you notice I do have Hylian Shield on Link's back. Normally, if you don't have the Hylian Shield, he doesn't put it on there. But if you do have it, it automatically puts it on Link's back, which does save a pause in going to the graveyard to get it, which is why I get it as Child Link. But if I didn't have it, a few Hesses wouldn't be possible, which save a roughly 30 seconds. So getting it as Child Link is a lot more worth it. Also, I may also note that I don't have any bombs. I don't have any. I don't have the slingshot. I don't really have any items I would normally need to actually beat the first dungeon as Adult Link. But I'm gonna have to change that. I'm gonna have to take a few trips around before I even complete Forest Temple. We have to take a few side trips to different dungeons. But ironically, Forest is one of the last few dungeons because it's really, there's nothing we really need there that would really benefit the run, so we just do it when it's convenient. Since we don't actually need the bow in the run. The bow is useful for switches, but that's about it. And even if it is, we could do a certain trick to hit it without the bow. I won't say now, I'll say it later. All right, gotta try that again. All right. All right, third try. So I got to Hess off that sign, which saves quite a bit of time if you can do it. And a Hess is a hyperextended super slide if I didn't explain it properly. But allows you to get extremely fast speeds while getting damage off a bomb or a chew. And it's kind of precise, but it's not really that precise. What I'm going to do here is get a ball on my B button, since I need it. Okay, got it. All right. So I just got bugs on my B button. There's nothing out of the ordinary. And what bugs on my B button allow me to do is it allows me to modify the inventory in the game. And the way that tricks works is basically the game thinks I have a sword in my hand. So the way the trick works in process is I have a ball in hand while I take damage, and on a specific frame of the if I press B on a specific damage frame while I have the ball in hand, the game will think I still have a sword in my hand when I have a ball. So if I press some buttons, certain buttons, it will allow me to swipe over my sword. It'll make the game think that the bottle is on my B button, so it allows me to catch bugs on my B button. That's going to allow me to get a few items. RBA isn't really extensively used too much in the run, in my opinion. It's not really used. It's only used now, but it's essential in order to keep the run at a decent pace. So I'm just going to get the hook shot here, since that's one of the few items you do need. Well, you don't need it right now, but like it would save a lot of time if you did. Because in low percentile dungeons, you might not need it, but you do now. And low percent is a whole nother can of worms, so I'm not going to touch that, even if it is a good category. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill this Poe. If I could possibly, since he's never done that, if I can catch him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop and catch my bugs and watch my chew count. Like, look at my chew count. It's 3, now it's 20. And now it's 29. And what that does is it modifies my chew count with having pull and C right. I'm going to explain that a bit. I'm going to explain that better later. One more. All right. All right, that was kind of weird. Since I've never had that happen before. But I have to focus during this trick. All right, there we go. So what that trick is a hook shot jump, and there's a specific, like, if you mash hook shot after bonking, it puts you in this weird state of where, like, it constantly pulls out and re-pulls out the hook shot. I'm just gonna drink that Poe since I don't need it. It puts you in a state of where you're pulling out and putting away the hook shot. By the way, I'm in Shadow Temple early. It puts you in a state of where you have like this weird state where the hook shot is out and in, and on a specific frame, if you press hook shot, it allows you to launch really high, and that allows me to get in the unloaded area. It allows me to get in the unloaded area outside Graveyard, and allows me to side up into the unloaded area of Shadow and get me in there. So sometimes Dead Hand, sometimes Dead Hand can have kind of a bad position. So if he has a bad position, the hands will get you. So I got to hover boots early, and that's pretty important for the rest of the run. Hover boots and bottle allow me to do a lot of tricks that aren't normally possible. And also, if I couldn't unload the entrance to Shadow Temple, I would need to inspire. So that's why that trick is absolutely essential. So what this trick is, it's called Boat Skip, which allows you to skip riding the boat in Shadow Temple. And it's extremely important that I get it. It saves about 3 minutes in the entire run. So I'm going to save here. And I'm going to explain everything after, I swear. Because this trick is really hard. All right. So I do that entire sub just to get out of bounds, since that's important to do. No big deal. I'm just falling out of bounds. I need this trick. All right. This is really precise. Okay, got it. There we go. All right, I'm just gonna equip bugs. All right, so I'm in the unloaded room before. I'm in the unload room before Bongo. Bongo. And I gotta do another trick. Okay. That's not good. You're not supposed to fail that. Okay, so I guess my positioning was kind of bad. So I gotta try that again. One more. Okay, got it. Oh, that's not good. I apologize. But this trick isn't making too much sense right now. I've never had this happen. Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. So that is a very difficult trick, and it's kind of hard to pause buffer in that room. So what I was doing, if I haven't explained pause buffering before, is I have to advance the game 1 frame at a time. I have to advance the game 1 frame at a time by pausing, and if I go a frame over for any of those tricks, I lose about 4 minutes. So I have to be very, very careful in doing that. I was very lucky that worked too. So I gotta fight Bongo Bongo. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ISG, and I'm going to catch my bugs, so I don't have to do it after the fight. And kill Bongo. But pause buffering is extremely crucial that I get every single trick for boat skip. Like, boat skip is just a multitude of tricks and a lot of pause buffering and just making sure you get it. Because I'd be very upset if I failed that. Well, I wouldn't be upset, but it'd be unfortunate. So you gotta make sure I get it. Alright. So I'm gonna skip the shadow cutscene. Oh no! I died. It's over, dude. This run's totally over. I died. Game over. Oh, I hope I don't mess anything up. Oh. Okay, I think I'll manage. I think the run will live somehow. A game over won't hurt me, right? Fortunately, I lost no time for that game over because that was a cutscene skip. And the way that works is by having bugs in hand and staying on the edge of the blue warp, I can interrupt the cutscene where it takes you up and move during that cutscene where it takes you up. And if I, by chance, die on the same frame that's supposed to take you into the cutscene, it allows me to skip the cutscene. And if it shows a white flash before entering Shadow Temple, that's the way you know it worked. And the way that works is that there's an internal timer that starts once you touch the blue warp, and once it hits a certain point, then the cutscene starts. But if you interrupt that with death, that allows you to skip the cutscene. So as long as it matches that internal number that says, hey, take me up into the cutscene, then the trick will work. If you're late or early, then if you're late, then the cutscene will start. If you're early, then you'll go to the beginning of Shadow Temple without having the medallion. So fortunately, I did get Shadow Medallions. So that's one dungeon down out of... Can someone help me with math? I need help. Let me think. I think 6 more dungeons, I believe. All right, so I did another Hess to get into here more quickly, but this is Dodongo's Cavern, which is a child section dungeon, which you're supposed to do as child, but I'm doing it as adult Link. And there's a specific reason why I got that fairy. I just want to put that out there. So I'm on pretty low health. This isn't good. This isn't good. I'm kind of low health. I might actually die. That wouldn't be good. All right, so I gotta realign myself a little bit. All right, so that was kind of the wrong spot. So you gotta be careful. There's a little splotch on the ground that you look for. And sometimes it can be hard to tell what it actually looks like due to the way the monitor is presented. Okay, this is it. All right, so what just happened there is if you press the if you hookshot a ladder at the same time you die, then you go up really fast. And because I had a fairy, I can stay up here instead of dying. Allows me to get bombs early. And also that trick is, again, frame perfect. You have to make sure to get the right frame there. Oh, so this room is kind of laggy, so it's better to backwalk there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another Chew Hess to get up here faster. All right. Just a little bit faster. No big deal. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a ground clip, which allows me to clip into the ground to get through a wall. All right, so I got to try again. So sometimes if you backflip a little bit early, that might fail, but my angle is kind of bad. So here's the backup. If you do a mega flip or a mega side up at a wall, then it allows you to clip through that wall and go under, which is why it's called a ground clip. And the angle's kind of precise, so it doesn't always work. So that's usually a more consistent option, which I just did. So now I'm going to... So the Bolero cutscene trigger is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip it. One, two, three, 4, 5. All right, so I guess my angle was kind of bad. That's unfortunate. But normally what would happen here is you would fall off into the lava at the same time as you start the cutscene. So just gotta watch this beautiful cutscene. And then jump into the lava straight after. So no big deal. Just gotta jump to the lava. There we go. Run is saved. So I'm just gonna grab it. I'm gonna grab a heart here because I have to take a lot of damage coming up. I'm gonna see if I can get a free bomb drop from these grass because it's likely you can get it. And the only reason I'm going in this row is to get a bald fish instead of bugs. And by the way, 29 is the value of bugs, 25 is the value of fish, which is why I got 29 shoes earlier. Just throwing that out there. We're gonna do another Hess here to save a little bit of time. And this is a ground jump. If you grab and shield a bomb before it explodes, then it gives you this weird state where you can't press any C buttons and you can do a funny little backflip. You do a little funny little jump when you backflip and allows you to get to high places. Nani? Alright, that's kind of unfortunate. Alright, so I gotta try that again. In another episode of This Has Never Happened Before, starring Ocarina of Time. Stay tuned for next week, where I discover Super Mario Bros. 3 and an accident with Ocarina of Time ACE within the game. Totally. Alright, so it's going to be faster to skip the cutscene, in my opinion. But generally, if you generally you have a very specific amount of damage you need. You have a very specific amount of damage you can afford to have here. So if your health is not correct, then it can completely mess up the trick. All right, there we go. And if I'm gonna go right under the minuet trigger, and I just got minuet. That's all I needed. So I'm gonna get a few more bomb drops here. I need that health, otherwise I was gonna die. Although I do need one bomb drop. Hopefully today. Because there's a high chance this grass can drop bomb drops. And I got really lucky today. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a super slide to get to Deku Tree a little bit early. Alright. And it requires a pretty darn precise angle, so I'm glad I got it. Alright. So I'm in an unloaded Deku Tree area, and what this basically means is I can enter the Deku Tree without talking to him. But normally the Deku Tree is closed as adult, but if you unload the area, you can just walk right in because the loading zone's still there. So I'm going to take a little damage from this Deku Baba, because I'm going to have to die again, unfortunately. Talk to Navi. Special duty of the day. So it turns out I backflipped a little bit late there. So that's a really, really, really precise. That's a very precise mega flip that you can only afford to backflip for 1 frame on. So just gotta try that again. Did I mention this category is extremely difficult? But it's entertaining. Probably didn't, but I should have. Okay, there we go. There we go. So I got... So what I did was another ground clip, and this puts me out of bounds of the Deku Tree. It makes me fall into the Deku Tree boss room. And this is where the first boss is. What do you know? This is where Goma is, but I don't have Slingshot to kill her, so I'm going to have to use Deku Nuts, which actually do work on Goma. Be quite ironic if Deku Nuts didn't actually work on Goma, because that would make the run a little bit more tricky. Just a little. Alright, Goma's dead. You have a couple of frames to throw the next Deku Nut after you stun her first, but the thing that happens is if you miss that that couple frame window to throw it, then unfortunately Goma will run away and crawl back, and it'll mess up your position for the wrong warp. Oh, I shouldn't have mentioned there's a wrong warp. Spoilers. Alright, so I got fish trolled. That's kind of unfortunate. So that happens sometimes that sometimes happens where the fish kind of flops out of your way. There's not really a lot you can do if that happens, except bite the bullet. And it's pretty much RNG if that happens. Alright, so I got the second time. Alright. So what I did was on a specific frame, I backflipped, so I'm going to die on a specific frame after I activate the blue warp. Since that same timer from similar to Shadow cutscene skip, it's still ticking up. And I died on a specific frame, so that takes me to Dodongo's Cavern again. So I skipped the Deku Tree cutscene, which is very, very convenient if you can actually manage to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to beat the boss this time. And what I have to do is I have to activate Navi on the same frame that I touch the switch. And that allows me to get in there without pushing the block. So I'm just going to get this bomb chest since I do need bombs. Whoops. I'm just going to equip Hookshot here since I am going to need it for this upcoming setup. But the reason why I warped to a completely different, if I didn't explain that properly, the way that works is that Deku Tree, Dodongo's Cavern, Jabu Jabu, and Fire Temple have unique properties in their blue warps of where they don't take you directly to the Chamber of Sages. And because they don't take you directly there, it allows you basically... it allows you to get to different locations you're not supposed to. So if since I died in Deku Tree, I warped to Dodongo's Cavern, and I'm gonna warp somewhere else since I die in here, which will be interesting in itself. So I'm gonna do a similar setup to Deku Tree, but it's a little funny. Well, it looks funny in my opinion. Alright, I didn't get it. Alright, so I gotta try that again. Because there's a specific window of which you have to backflip with the bomb, and if you don't get it, you just have to try again, and I saved, so that's good. At least I hope I saved. Yes, I did. So I gotta try. So I gotta get this guy over here again. Or get one of them over here. This is actually hard because it is kind of one frame. But if that happens, that's second frame. I think if this does happen too much, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a fish. Okay, I got it. That's good. But yeah, this trick is pretty hard because you have about one frame to actually do it. So, fun fact, this lava is still loaded when you enter. Just a little fun fact. So I'm gonna have to do like a step to get back into the position where I'm supposed to. No big deal. Assuming I don't get fish trolled again. Also, this room is very, very laggy, so it's hard to pause buffer. All right, got it. So I'm gonna do another cutscene. Since this is another cutscene skip and it just happens to be in Dodongo's Cavern, I'm gonna warp somewhere special. There we go. Guru Training Grounds. Home sweet home. And I got caught. That's not good. Imagine going into a completely fortified layout and then just finding some guy just wrong warped in. Like, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool concept. So I got caught immediately put in jail. But there's a small little spot I can do to clip up on top of the jail and get on top of here, where there's a purple rupee chest, but that's not important. So what I just did was I just skipped the sequence of where you have to get the gate to open and get the Gerudo card. So I went around the gate and onto the outside loading zone, and I just got to the desert early without needing to get the guards or free the carpenters. So what I'm doing is a massive Hess, and it's extremely hard, and I hope I get it. Okay, so I failed that. That's unfortunate. That little corner is really, really hard to get first try. All right, so I got it. There's a very, very, very small window of where you can Hess through that area, because basically there's a small area of where I avoided of where basically it's an all void zone. So like if you're in a certain spot, a little too far, a little too close to the left or right, you'll void and you'll get to the beginning. Also, those levers can interrupt your super slide, so that's not a good thing. Nani? So there's a toucan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a hover to the top of Spirit Temple. And it's not easy. Okay. It's not gonna work. Okay, so I gotta do a backup here. So just in case this Hess fails, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enter here, so that if I do actually happen to fall, what I can do is I can respawn back up here. Okay, that's unfortunate. Fortunately, I can die quickly. So basically what happens there is if your Hess is slightly off, then you're going to miss the platform. And that's why getting a Hess there is unreliable. But if you're low on chew, if you're low on bombs, then you really don't have a choice a lot of time. And if I actually took that, it'd be really bad. All right, got it. So I'm kind of low on chews right now, so I'm gonna have to use them sparingly, I think. So now I got the mirror shield. After that really long hover. All right, so I have 1 chew for Water Temple hover. Which isn't good. Or I have no chews, I think. So what I'm trying to gather from these armors is I'm trying to get some bomb drops. Did I soft lock? No, I didn't. So I used up all my bombs, so I'm obviously gonna need to get bomb drops here. But since I'm getting kind of bad luck, I'm gonna have to go at him again. All right. So I just got pretty good bomb luck. So since I'm not going to get the boss key, since that's really slow, and I don't have Zelda's Lullaby, I'm going to have to do another trick to get the boss key. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to have to. So I'm clipping inside this wall right here, and I'm not in bounds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do super slide here. One more. I'm going to do a super slide, like out of bounds here. No big deal. One more. All right, so I got the super slide, I think. Why is this so hard to advance frames? There we go. All right, so I got the BK skip, which is pretty important. So basically what I did was I did a super slide to get out of bounds and then a super slide to the loading zone since it's pretty high up. And it requires a pretty precise super slide and decent movement to get to it. That is all good. So I'm gonna have to kill her quickly. Her? Oh, spoilers. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, so I got the cutscene skip. So what happened there is I killed it at the same time I voided out of bounds, and that skips a cutscene afterward of where you watch the armor fall apart and or transform, then or get sucked away into the darkness. That's Nibiru, by the way. So I guess there was a need for a spoiler. And also, if you press fish while you're falling, then the battle music persists for some reason. It's kind of like for style points. Alright, so there's not really much to say at this point. The general section between forest, between Minuet up to here, so Minuet to Deku to DC to Spirit Hover and to here is pretty difficult, but the difficulty's gotta go down for a bit. That's gotta go right back up. So there's more frame perfect stuff. So this fight is complete RNG. I have to very much hope that they go in the right spot for the most part. And what I can do is I can spam the hook shot on the moving one. It allows them to stay in place and be able to hit them more consistently. Also, that's a double. That's pretty rare. She stayed still. Sometimes Trinrova does what people call a double or a double. And basically what happens is the witch who doesn't shoot like stays in put. Like the witch who originally shoots stays in put to shoot again, and it's really, really fast. Saves quite a bit of time. That's what's called a double. Also, their hitbox is really tiny. So that's phase one. Because the thing that can sometimes happen is they can just, the witch you're supposed to hit, they just spin around behind you, above you, like they don't get into view, so you can't hit them sometimes. And it really sucks when that happens. And there's almost nothing you could do sometimes. But a lot of time it's not that bad, but if you're on world record pace, then it's kind of disappointing. Alright, so she's gone. Those slashers are kind of precise, so if you miss 2 of them, then we're going to go back for another cycle. In OT 3D, however, it doesn't matter how quickly you hit her, that she just gets back up after a certain amount of hits, which is unfortunately not cool. So the funny thing about these characters, or whatever they are, is that their hitbox is actually above the stage right after the fight. So you can use if you're using Game Shark, you can levitate up to the top, the direct center, like right up to where they are, and you will fall down like you'll get damaged and fall down. Like, I'm not even joking. And there's another oddity, but I'll explain it afterwards, because this is important. Or not. Well then. I don't know what I did, but that's unfortunate. So the thing that can sometimes happen if your up input isn't Like if your up input isn't like straight up, sometimes if they have like a back control stick, then it might be slightly to the right or left. And sometimes like instead of going onto the edge of that cutscene, you'll just fall in. It's not a big deal if I watch this cutscene either. It just saves like a minute. Cutscene saves around 1:20. But right after this temple is Forest Temple, and unlike this cutscene skip, that one is necessary. Fail that, you gotta reset. Because if you fail it, you lose 4 minutes. Because that is such a long cutscene, because you got the you got Chamber of Sages, then the Deku Tree Sprout cutscene, where he's just explaining your story, his life story. But you don't want to listen to that, you just want to go fast. So since I'm low in damage, that's kind of convenient because I can go straight to Forest Temple. Since I don't have an Ocarina, I have to play Ocarina items. I probably didn't even explain how this even works since it's kind of muscle memory. But if you backflip and press a cutscene item, then a sword or hook shot or bomb or anything, then it auto-plays like an Ocarina and you can play songs with that. So instead of getting an Ocarina, I just use bottle. Or a fish in a bottle. That takes up all my Ocarina needs. Also, if you get on top of there, you fall through. Just saying. So, I'm finally in Forest Temple, but this is probably the shortest temple I'm in, aside from Deku Tree, of course, since Deku Tree isn't a temple but a dungeon. And I'm going to go straight to the boss, since I don't need any items in here. I don't need any TLoZ, any heart containers. Fortunately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the side of this railing and flip through the floor, and then back walk, hold down, and I'm in the boss room. Very simple trick. Because the boss room is really, really close. The boss room is extremely close to like the main room, so if you can get under that point, you can just jump in. Also, here's Ganondorf, final boss. Not really. Fortunately, I will not be having to do the tennis portion, because tennis with Ganondorf, Phantom Ganon, is kind of slow and inconsistent, and since I'm at half a heart, I can't really risk that. I can't risk playing tennis with him in case he decides to make the ball really fast. So since I don't have the bow, I'm going to have to use the hook shot to hit him through the painting. If I was Child Link, I'd have to use the slingshot, because that's the same effect as the bow, roughly. So the way that just worked is I stun locked Ganon by spamming hookshot. So what I did during the fight is I got ISG, and what that does is obviously it's infinite sword glitch. It allows me to hit as many times as I want, and I just hit. Basically, if you slash Ganon, then you can stun lock. Well, you don't stun lock. You can stun lock with the hookshot. But if you keep just slashing, then he'll eventually get up. But if you spam hookshot while you're still slashing, then he'll stay down and you can get all your hits in, which is pretty convenient. That's not gonna work. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a backup here. If that's okay. Hope that's permissible. This is a non-initial position setup. So this cutscene skip is pretty precise. Alright, so I got it. I got the first part. Alright, so I got it. Oh no, I died again. It's over, dude. Runs over like it's in, pack it in. Game over. You know the usual. Alright, so I got the cutscene skip, so that's pretty good. So I did the same cutscene skip as I usually do to make that work. But it works slightly different than the other wrong warps. Works a little slightly different than the other wrong warps, because I have to pull a bomb and then backflip at the same time. But the warp itself works the same as all the other temples for the most part. So I'm going to Hess past Mido. And there's a small spot where I can clip through here as adult. So I'm going to do that right now. Hopefully. But it's kind of hard to get in the precise position. Since, like, you have to be on the very edge here. Caprice. Alright, so I'm going to do a backup here. If I can get up. Since I can Navi dive. Alright. So my next place is I'm supposed to go as Water Temple. And it's pretty important that I get all the tricks in Water Temple too. Just saying. And I don't feel the backflip either. Because if you have a slightly bad camera angle, then instead of backwalking, what you're going to do is you're going to do a side roll movement. Although if you have too bad of an angle, then you're just going to fall. One more frame. Although there's a little small spot in that waterfall you can go into, because normally you have to play ZL to get past the waterfall, but in this case you don't. You can just backwalk into a specific spot with hover boots, or do a mega flip or a mega side up to make it work. So King Zora is right here. And I just unfroze him by pulling out a chicken. No big deal. Because the way that works is if you pull out a trade item and then look at King Zora after you pull it out, look away and then look back, he gets unfrozen. Don't ask me how, it just works. So notice how I got a timer. I mean, I got a speedrun timer going right now, but I got a timer. And it's pretty important that this timer works. This timer is going. It's pretty important. So I need to get a bomb drop from this grass really quickly. If I don't, I'm just gonna have to go. Alright. I don't need the bomb drop. So with a specific angle, I can back up into the house and then go out of bounds. And I just happen to be able to, like right beside Water Temple. And the way this works is I can swim under the land here just enough that I can see where I'm going, but not enough so that I pop back in bounds. Because if you pop back in bounds, he runs over. Okay, got it. And Water Temple's loading zone is right here, so you can just go above the loading zone and it works. Because loading zones, I'm pretty sure, go infinitely up. So that's why you can get there without diving. Okay. That might not work. Okay. So the reason I have the timer on in the first place is so I can skip the upcoming cutscene after beating the boss. And I have a limited amount of time that I can use to get here and do everything I need to do, get the bomb drops, like get the boss key skip. And about the boss key skip, that door has no collision on the top, so I can just jump slash through. I can jump slash through the top, which is pretty convenient on its own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delay the timer so I have more time to beat the boss by backflipping and pressing fish. That's not good. Because if I get better RNG in this fight, then that's going to be bad. Okay, I got really bad RNG. That's not good. This isn't good. This isn't good. So I got really bad RNG in the fight, so I might not actually make this. Because there's no way I could actually reach the ball. Yeah, I'm not making this. I just soft locked, I think. That's not good. I caught the fish on the exact same frame that the timer expired, so where am I? That's not good. Well, that's not as bad as I thought. Actually, I don't have Force Medallion. Oh boy. We might be going a little bit over estimate. You sure about that? So, since I soft locked, I'm going back to my last save point, so I'm going to do my best to... Okay, that's convenient. I beat the boss. All right. Got it. Gotta do the same trick as before. I'm pretty sure this is one more frame. I'm pretty sure. Yep. Oh! Oh no, I died again. It's over, dude. Oh no, I died? That's very odd. Okay, I've never had that happen before. Because this is the best backup that I know how to do. And sometimes for sometimes it can just fail for no reason, which is why I really opt to do the normal setup, like after you finish the fight, but if you have to do it, then you have to do it, or not. Majority of things have never happened before in my entirety of speedrunning, I swear. Including backflipping in that warp. That's a new one for me. I swear. Can confirm. Why? All right. I'll try once more. Two more frames, I think. One more frame. There you go. All right, I'm pretty sure this is a proper setup. Yeah. If it isn't, then I don't know what it is. All right, got it. That was very unfortunate. So I'm going to do the same things as I did before, but I'm going to try my best to do them a little bit faster. There we go. I mean, I'm even happy I got that BK skip with the amount of shoes I had. I'm going to have to get it again. Yeah, so. So, Water Temple, but faster. And less bad RNG. And no soft locks. I will confirm that. So the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get a bomb drop here, and if I don't, then I'm not getting bombs. Because time is money. Well, there's not money in this game because you don't spend any rupees in this category except for Highland Shield. But generally, but I have really not much to say at this point, but I'm going to say a lot of things after this Morpho fight, if it goes well. Got it. That's really difficult with bombs. I'm glad I got it. So generally, what I want Morpha to do is I want her to be like really close that I can hit her with the hook shot and not the long shot, because the game expects you to have the long shot at this point, so you can hit Morpha basically from anywhere in the stage. But I want her to be close enough that I can get at her without having to like move around the stage, because like the more I have to move around, the more time I waste, and the time is ticking. Alright, so this isn't too bad. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get Morph in the corner. And stab her a few times, basically. Alright, so I'm going to need this heart container since it's kind of important. Alright, so I backflip on a specific frame of the timer. And what's going to happen is I'm going to be whisked away at the same time the cutscene starts. And I skipped the Water Temple Medallion cutscene, and I got warped right back to where I want to be. Alright, so this is the extremely, extremely difficult you can't fail a single thing section, or else your run's dead section. So hopefully I don't do anything wrong. So this is This is the second last dungeon I have to be in because I've been in Water, Forest, Shadow Spirit, Deku Tree, Dogno's Cavern. But Jabu's not here. How am I going to get in there? Please stay tuned. Or stay tuned. That might not work. That's bad. That's not good. Sometimes the trick can just fail for no reason. So if that happens, I do have to reset. It's probably honestly the hardest trick in the run. Wait, but a mercy kill?
Mercy kill? What's that mean? You want to stop?
Well, it's not that I'm unsure of how overestimate this is going to go.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's okay. How long?
Max.
Take off the headset. How long?
So fortunately, lax is about 4 minutes. So I have no choice since I'm low on choose. I do have to save warp in order to get my choose back. Because like technically, if I could technically just play Minuet to get my to be able to like try again, but like since my choose are so incredibly low and the tricks I'm doing are basically chew perfect, I basically cannot afford to waste any chews, and if I waste any chews, I have to reset. So, I mean, there's a main benefit of this. We may as well get light arrows. They're absolutely useless in this category, but I mean, since I'm here, I may as well get them. Since I'm forced given to them automatically. No big deal. So basically, light arrows in this category is useless, and it's pretty much useless in every category except for categories that allow you to beat Ganondorf. While they are kind of useful as an item in a separate game, the Wind Waker, they're pretty much useless in OT because they're basically the same strength as fire arrows. But in Majora's Mask, they are a little bit stronger against certain enemies since they're a dungeon item. But each time, like, since I didn't beat all the temples, normally what would happen if you beat all the temples is that, like, you'd get this cutscene. But the thing is, the game only checks for the Shadow and Spirit medallions. It only checks if you got them. And if you have them, then it plays its cutscene regardless if you've beaten fire, forest, or water. It just plays it regardless. So what I'm going to do as a shortcut is going to play Bolero. It's slightly faster than walking back to Zora's Domain, which is pretty slow. This is slightly faster than playing Minuet, because even though you have to go to 2 areas, it's still faster. And also you can skip past the Mido. And also the boulders aren't there, so that's pretty convenient. And if you have a bad angle, you'll fall there. It's not easy. Like, once you lose your angle, it's pretty hard to get the one you actually need. Although if you do fall, it doesn't help. Although I don't know I'm falling. Which is odd in itself. There we go. Barely made it. So again, I only have one opportunity to get this trick, and then I have to reset. I have to go back. Like, it's really important that I get it, and it's really hard too. I think I just lost it though. That might not be good. Oh well, this will be an interesting strat. All right, there we go. All right, I got it. There we go. Although this is pretty close to the inches Jabu. And I think we're in. There we go. We're in Jabu. So then again, I still got the timer again, so I have to do the things I need to do in a specific time frame. Then again, here is I'm doing Jabu as adult, and well, like the dungeon really doesn't fit. But yeah, it's actually, because like I'm adult Link in this dungeon, like it's really, really hard to like do things that Child Link would normally be able to do. Like you can't really pick up the Gerudo as easily. Like your hitbox is really tiny. And like the other benefit is that you can use hover boots here, so you can save time in other places. Also, if you get hit by bubbles, you lose a lot of time because you gotta pick up Gerudo. Which isn't a big deal normally, but you're on a timer. And the timer hits 0, you warp back. My point, you can't pick up Gerudo. So I'm going to kill this Octorok, and I'm going to time stop again so I get more time for the fight. And hopefully pick up Gerudo in time to get on top of here too. You could do a little bit of time stop there to save a tiny bit of time. But if you fall off, that's pretty bad, and it's pretty easy to do. It's pretty easy to fall off there, if I remember correctly. Then again, I don't need to do any funny movement. And this is a trick called Vibrudo, and you can turn Gerudo into a vibrator because she's vibrating a lot. If you stop and drop and roll, like if you drop her on the chest while it's appearing, then she does that until you pick her up again. Just looks funny. And fortunately, I will not be needing Gerudo in this dungeon. I will not be needing Gerudo again in this dungeon, and there she is. Because I'm going to go straight to the boss, since Gerudo is useless after this point. I mean, Gerudo's pretty useless as Child Link anyway, but as Adult Link, she's really useless. I do not want the light arrows. This is a equip swap of where like you have to do a frame, if I remember correctly, it's a frame perfect It's a double frame perfect trick because the pause menu runs at 20 FPS. And what you have to do... that's not good. Give me 1 sec. Okay. Just let me get this trick. Okay, I got it. So what you have to do is you have to switch menus. You have to switch menus, and on a specific frame when you're switching menus, you have to press up left and then the button where you want the boomerang to be on, because it looks for your last item. So I could technically equip magic beans, I could equip child items as adult items as child. I mean, I could equip Megaton Hammer as child if I wanted to. But the reason why I equip it here is just to get this fight done. And I'm going to do a really risky backup strat here. Okay, I got it. Alright, so I got it. So the way that works is I have to go out of bounds in the Baronade fight and void at the same time as the timer expires. So right now I have... my timer is at 0-0 right now, which isn't normal. So the reason why that is because since I interrupted it, it's at 0-0, which is a good thing because I'm going to need that for Fire Temple. The bad news is that certain things can trigger it to expire, so I have to avoid them. But yes, this is probably honestly the hardest section in the entire run from Water Temple to actually Jabun itself, just because of the difficulty of the tricks involved in making it. Because you have no opportunity for error in Jabu, because if you mess up, like if you waste more than 15 seconds, your run's basically over. I mean, you can technically still make it if you have enough chews, but if you have no chews, then you're done. Also, this cutscene is funny. Also, if you can equip... if you can possibly equip... like, if you equip Iron Boots when entering this cutscene, Link just sinks to the bottom. During the cutscene, you just watch him, like, go straight down. And then Ruto talks to absolutely no one. And then you can see the bubbles, like, from underwater. But since we don't get Iron Boots in this category, it can't really be shown off, but it is done in the latest 100% route. So if you want to catch more of the game, I'd recommend watching 100% speedruns of this game. It's a lot longer than all dungeons, but I find it to be really, really entertaining at the same time, and it shows up a lot more tricks that aren't possible to do in this category. And also, since the cutscene is kind of messed up, Link's just going to sink to the bottom. No big deal. Absolutely no big deal. Also, Link can't climb in this log normally, so I have to backflip onto it. Alright, so... So what we used to do in the old route was we used to do that void trick in front of Fire Temple, like right outside. But it's been found to be faster since we can use the boomerang now due to the trick called Equip Swap. We can save a lot of time by doing it in Jabu instead. So it's really, really fast, and it makes the run a lot more interesting and a lot more difficult. since you have to do like everything on a really tight timeline in Jabu. Also, you'll notice when I just entered, my timer is at 0-1 instead of 0-0. That's because I played Bolero and I reset the timer a little bit. And what that's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to do a wrong warp at the boss, since the timer is going to expire then. Alright, so I failed that, unfortunately. So what you normally do there is you jump slash at the same time as Durania looks at you, but sometimes if you have a bad camera, then he'll just look at you and won't even get a chance to jump slash. But the only reason I would need to do this, because normally, like the way Durania works is why he didn't talk to me initially when I entered the room, is because he only activates when you look at him. So if you enter the room looking away from him, he won't activate. But what I need, but like the main problem and dilemma I have basically is I need to get bomb drops. So what I normally do is I jump slash on the switches the same time the cutscene activates. So Durania talks while I'm moving. So it's kind of like he talks while I'm moving, and he talks while I'm in this room as well. There's not really much to say. But regardless, I do actually need those bomb drops, since those bomb drops are pretty important. So what I need to do is I need to take minimal damage here, because my damage counts the amount of time on the timer I have, so I got the first one. So what I need to take as little damage as possible so I have as much time as possible for the next room I'm going into. Okay, that's really good. I took no damage. Also, there's an alternative trick you can do with the boomerang to skip Durania's cutscene instead of doing time stop. And if I didn't mention it before, time stop is a trick of where it originally came from MM, which is why it's called time stop, because it stops time. But like, basically the way it works in OOT is that it locks your camera and it allows you to use some items, but not many, if I remember correctly. Actually, it allows you to use your items, never mind that. But it locks your camera at a specific angle and it keeps it that way. So I can enter Durania's room with that locked camera angle and not have to talk to him. That's not the hook shot. As much as I would like to believe that was the hook shot, that was not the hook shot, and in fact that was the boomerang. And I do not believe that the boomerang does a very good job at hook shotting me to places. Just my opinion though. Alright, so I had 4 seconds left, that's pretty normal. So there's a specific spot I can clip into this block with. So if I go in a specific spot, do some specific inputs, I can clip through here and get into the cage under here. But the way that works is there's a small little spot of where like there's a little opening. So if we can take damage with a bomb at a specific angle, you'll get pushed through by the bomb. And you'll clip through if you hold left. And there's several setups for that, but that's the fastest one for the bomb setup. And it's really consistent too. Just don't fail it, otherwise it runs over. Just saying. So thankfully, since it didn't take too much damage, I'm not gonna have to get any hearts here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Hess to the fire maze here, since it's pretty fast to do so. I'm going to roll into this and use my damage to get past that flame wall. Get some extra bombs, get some extra hearts. And this is the Flare Dancer fight. And the funny thing about the Flare Dancer fight is he has a 50% chance to drop a bomb at the end of it. And a lot of time, a lot of runners depend on that bomb drop. Their drop rate is really low. So if they got bad RNG previously. But if he doesn't drop a bomb and you're really low on bombs, there's no other way to get bombs. So as general toss-up, you either have to get Drunia bombs, the bomb drops beside Drunia, or take the risk and get this one and lose no time. Because whenever you have to get Drunia bombs, you lose around 25 seconds doing so. Again, my timer's still at 0-0. No big deal. Also, falling there is bad. Just kinda. So I have 8 keys coming at me, so next thing I do is a shield. Also, I have hammers. That's the last item I need in the run. And I've got all the items I need to beat the game. Almost all of them. That's 100% muscle memory. Alright, gotta try this a few times, I guess. That's not good. I gotta get hearts. So if that does happen, if you do take damage there, you do absolutely have to get hearts. And the only way to get hearts is to hope for a random drop from the keys here. And hope they notice you, senpai. Or notice you like a senpai. And if you're lucky, you get a heart drop on the first try, but I'm unlucky. So you gotta basically grind until you get a heart, because if you don't have exactly 5 hearts during the Volvagia fight, there is a very, very, very high chance that you will absolutely die. Okay, I got bad RNG. So I think I might have to reload the room. Because there is absolutely no other place you can possibly get hearts. There's nowhere else. So you have to be really, really careful in not taking damage. Alright. So I didn't get that. So him. So I'm getting really bad RNG for some reason. That's okay though. So I got a few more tries, but it's gonna be kind of bad after that. But normally the keys have a very, very, very high chance of dropping hearts. Like normally you don't want keys dropping hearts at all, because when you kill them, like for example an ice cavern where you can't afford to have like any extra health. Alright, I got one. So what I did was I did a Hess into the corner. That allows me to get into this loading zone. And this just happens to be a Fire Temple boss door. So I'm in the Volvagia fight. And thankfully, nothing went wrong in this temple, because if you do anything like this to start or stop the timer, if you die, or like you fail anything like related death, then the timer resets and you gotta go back to get it, which costs about 10-15 minutes. Or, so I have to get really lucky during this fight. If I don't get lucky, that's gonna be bad. Alright. That's pretty lucky. So the way that fight works is that there is a second hitbox with Volvagia, and if you place bombs where the hitbox is, you can damage her while she's popping out of the holes. And that allows me to get a really quick fight by not having her fly up in the air, which is really slow. So this is the most important part of the run. I need my fish to be nice. Shouts to Turoth King. So I need this fish to be really, really kind to me. I need him to be the best TK I've ever seen. This is bad. I got fish trolled pretty badly. This is bad. Or this could be bad. All right, time.
All right, Glitchy. Explain what happened with that last trick there.
So what happened with that trick was I had a timer, I had the eyeball frog timer going. And what it basically does is when it warps you away, it's supposed to warp you back to King Zora because it's supposed to give you the prescription again. But if you interrupt that warp point with a cutscene that's supposed to play, for example, you step into a blue warp, it overrides that cutscene value and adds a value to that, and it sends you to a specific location. So it just so happens that doing the wrong warp there with eyeball frog timer sends me to credits.
All right. Well, good job, Glitchy. Good job. Good job. Yeah. Any last words before we tag in?
Please donate to Sick Kids. Good organization.
All right. Good job.
Glad
Glitchy.
you guys enjoyed my run.
Okay. Up next, we got Wind Waker HD. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. We'll be right back.